Oh, hello. Have a look at that, folks. It's the official, and you can shut up as well. It's the official BBFC rating. That's the British Board of Film Censors. They have given a 15 certificate, which is the equivalent to an R rating in America and maybe Canada, for Deadpool and Wolverine, which gets its premiere tonight in Hammersmith, London. Not glamorous, I know, but check the rating out. Strong, bloody violence, injury detail, sex references, and best of all, very strong language. So not tit, bum, shit, poop, wanker, bollocks. Nope, it's going to be my favourite curse word of all time. It's got to be see you next Tuesday. Okay, cut. So this afternoon, returning home from work, I was on the 44 bus, an empty bus by the way. I went to the very top, sat at the front, thinking I would be undisturbed. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Jace, did one of your groupies come and harass you? Oh, if only that were the case. But no, it's so much more worse, ladies and gentlemen, because these touristas got on, two sat on my left, and remember, I had a plastic carrier bag next to me on the seat. And then all of a sudden, I'm looking outside, enjoying the views, and then this woman says to me, oh, do you mind if I sit here? And I'm looking at her, this big, fat Chinese woman in an overcoat in about, 70 degrees of sunshine in London. And I'm looking around to the far left of the bus thinking, everything's all empty down there. Why is this chick sat next to me? And of course, she makes herself at home, trying to squash me against the window. So just my luck, right? I can't expect a señorita bonita in short shorts, thigh-high stockings, and a very tight, sexy t-shirt to be sat next to me. No. I have to get the leftovers, don't I? So on that one, folks, before I get into today's video, my very special guest is none other than the very lovely Humbly Gonzalez. She's the star of Star Wars Outlaws, where she plays Kay Vez. Now listen, Humbly, I know you're a she, her, and a they, them, but if you ever decide that you want to be in the company of a good, loving man one day, well, I'm your person right here. Hello? She's still in a state of shock, actually, because I'm about to react to IGN's deep dive into the Star Wars world you never knew you wanted. And I'll see you two later on as well. I have so much fun here, ladies and gentlemen. It's unreal.
Her voice may be almost as important to gamers as Lara's double pistols, curves, and skimpy shorts.
Kung Fu Hot Dog is a Kung Fu renegade cop. Now he must defeat the most evil Kung Fu master in the world.
For a modern gaming audience.
For a new world of unspeakable adventures.
I said, Mummy, I like the way the lady runs.
Get ready for a new world of unspeakable adventures, never before shown in a motion picture. Get ready for Kung Fu Hot Dog.
No retreat, no surrender.
Star Wars Outlaws that wants you to be your own dream open galaxy. It's the IGN first look, which was released on the 9th of July 2024. Look at the upvotes to the downvotes. 8,200 people said, yay, we like this. And almost 4,000 people say, no, this is absolute dog shit. In fact, if I refresh this screen, what do you think might happen now, folks?
If you don't know how to make chords, this is
No, I don't, so piss off. Look at that. 4,000. Look at that. No edited footage in between. That was me and this god-awful chappy right here promoting chords. We don't care.
Of dual ambitions. Maintain the cinematic legacy.
Get it? Because it's Star Wars Duel of the Fates.
Thank you.
Hello.
Of the films and create immersive scoundrel gameplay that grants you the free.
Oh my god.
I would love for it to be after I'm dead.
Tell you what, if you're thinking about refunding and never accepting pre-orders from Ubisoft, this will be the reason why you don't just go ahead and play this game. No, say goodbye to Western female gaming, folks. That's what it is in terms of the actual design of a female character. Oh my gosh. Terrible.
The galaxy.
I think it's taken this long to get an open world Star Wars game because of how...
Steve Blank, with the blank expression, has dry mouth. Did no one offer him a glass of water? He's like... I mean, you're not sucking on your mama's titties, dude. And if you were, you'd still not have this problem afterwards. But there you go.
Excuse the pun, massive it is to build a game like this. There are only
massive
so many
entertainment does a massive world.
This scale. The door is then open for
Nix that thing
to come to us and say, this is what we're interested in doing. This is the type of game design and gameplay we want. This is what we're thinking about. And
what's with all the flying a punch all over the place? It's such an exaggerated, silly movement.
Archetype.
Who's the female character hooded up there? She looks very attractive. Why don't we get to play as her? I've been shortchanged already by Ubisoft. Do not pre-order this game, folks. Don't do that.
Where does that fit?
It's the outlaw
in my ass.
Player fantasy, and it's open world. Those were the two main pillars that we pitched. Why open world? Because the outlaw fantasy...
So remember, this is an open world game, but unlike the recent Final Fantasy games where you could actually look at something and say, I can go there, here you can obviously go to many places, but if you see something in the distance, like for example, this mountain range right here, if I can just look above, yeah, not talking about the Dolly Parton mountain range, if you get my drift. But could you possibly go there? No, because I think the game would actually stop you from traveling that far ahead. It wants you to it wants you to stay in the parameters of where you're allowed to traverse to. So again, when people say open world games, it's not entirely a true terminology.
A lot of experience doing what we
I'm not a fan of the combat mechanics. It looks a bit janky.
Scoundrel in Star Wars begs for freedom.
Massive was fully confident in its abilities to create Massive was fully
in Star.
Again, why can't these troopers fight back? It seems like, oh, I'm a woman and I'm going to make sure all the male troopers come down because they're awful and they're a strange shade of black as well. That can't possibly be saying there, could they? Ubisoft? Really? If you look closely, she looks nice there, then suddenly, and again, what's with the caved-in features of the face?
In your own ship.
And then she just goes from that to ugly in about a couple of seconds. Yeah, refunds are coming your way, Ubisoft, and don't hold me responsible, by the way. I'm just a dumb critic who sits alone in his room looking at bikini-clad lovelies.
But getting Lucasfilm's blessing was just the key in the ignition.
Because Mein Führer, Kathleen Kennedy, sits there with her armed Wolfenstein troopers ready to pop a bullet in your ass if you don't do what she says, which is namely replacing Han Solo, straight white male, with Hispanic female Hana Solo-e, played by Humbala Gonzalez.
Set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, two of the most iconic films of all time, was the actual challenge.
So while Han Solo is in carbonized casings, guess who's taking over? A character we never heard before. And again, Kay Vez sounds like a nice name, but I'm sorry, Han Solo was there first.
Hyperdrive.
The line delivery there was a bit flat.
So very similar to what Rogue One did. What its aim was to do was to replicate a lot of the sort of filmic effects.
I mean, you could have made a Rogue One video game with Jyn Erso and get Felicity Jones to reprise a role. That would have been a lot more appealing.
Of those lenses of the 1970s. So you'll see barrel distortion on the sides, vignetting, film grain, chromatic aberration, and of course, all wrapped up in it.
And there are parts of this game where it actually looks pretty nice. It looks pretty sweet, but again, ruined by ugly character design, seen it all before mechanics. So what are they going to bring to the mix? Somebody said in the comments here, what about a brand new KOTOR game? Well, didn't they have Sam Maggs to try and ruin that? And then the developer said, hey, you know what, Maggs, you just go away, love, and go and ruin somebody else's IP, which is duly doing with Zack Snyder.
Chromatic aberration, and of course, all wrapped up in an ultra widescreen presentation.
It's a key
No
point
pink
for
ribbons.
open world
Julian
games
Garrity,
at large,
I'm so
but I think
disappointed.
very much for Star-
Scale is something written into the very DNA of Star Wars, whether seen on the big or small screen. Greg Fraser, Rogue One's director of
Now
photography.
look, I do appreciate that game developers are trying to make the best product for you that you go out and buy. I understand that. But when Western game developers are having the DEI and ESG guns to their heads, and especially Kathleen Kennedy, the head of Lucasfilm, is telling anybody, when you do a spin-off of our games, you need to do it like this. Hopefully, the modders will be out in force to rectify some damage when it comes to the god-awful characterization of Kay Vez.
You know, knowing how big a human is going into this massive
How big a human is going into a massive spaceship because massive games are making this massive AAA title. The play on words are just making me speechless right now. I mean, I am almost farting in the wind, ladies and gentlemen. Which will be good because then I won't have to smell it afterwards. And will they throw in some line about her being an immigrant in a space colony? Do you think that could actually happen? It could. They could actually. It's a modern day metaphor, ladies and gentlemen. She's a colonial space marine and she's being colonized. She's been immigrated.
Crafting the introduction to its open world.
One of our intentions was, for the beginning of the game, to make it feel very small and then bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So, beginning of the game, you start off in one
He's
room,
such a saucy boy. Oh,
and it's meant to make you feel a little bit trapped. You open up, and it's city streets, but it's contained. And then
city streets with
barrels of
titties.
stuff, and you steal a ship, and you explode into the galaxy, and all of a sudden, you crash land on this planet.
I mean, if we're talking about exploding in the galaxy, that sounds like a AAA adult space movie I very much want to see. Oh my god, San Francisco, California, Lucasfilm. And if you look underneath Yoda, what do you see? It's a rainbow.
Rainbow, sing a rainbow, sing a rainbow too.
What's the downside to that? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you still have that experience.
If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's a bit of a cavalier attitude, isn't it? I mean, you want your video game to work, and yes, I'm also talking to you, Ubisoft, who are behind this god-awful game, along with Assassin's Creed Shadows, In the Shadows, starring a black samurai who's not called Shadow.
That we pitched. Why open world?
And wasn't Starfield meant to be open world, but there was still some areas of that world you couldn't go to, not in space, but, well, anywhere in the game. It's just like you couldn't go anywhere, even though Todd Howard claimed, and I might be wrong about this, that it was completely open world.
Was the actual challenge, one that Massive set out to address in every aspect of Outlaw.
Yeah, except for the fact that with those two amazing Star Wars films, and look, I do like Return of the Jedi as well, forget the Ewoks. We got Princess Leia in a bikini, for crying out loud, enslaved to Jabba the Hutt. So that guy's pretty based, and Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul, was absolutely game to wear a gold bikini and make many young men fantasize about her from now until they turned into men, I suppose. But George Lucas can't be giving his seal of approval of this. I mean, technically he's a consultant at this stage. I'm surprised that in his agreement to hand over the keys to Disney about the Star Wars IP, that they still allowed him to be loosely consultative with certain projects. I mean, really, he should be going directly to Herrn Freien Fräulein Kathleen Kennedy.
from the way it looks and sounds to the type of action-adventure gameplay it supplies.
A lot of the sort of filmic effects of those lenses of the 1970s. So you'll see barrel distortion on the side.
I won't lie, some aspects of the environment looks pretty good. It's just the characterization of Kay Vez, who could be an actual good hero in Star Wars, despite the fact now they're calling her female Han Solo unofficially. That was the point I was trying to get back to earlier on. And it's like, Han Solo, I'll forget about him. We just got the female version I'm going to play instead.
There is something written into the very DNA of Star.
I'm not being funny, but this looks like a fetch quest kind of game. She's going from one area to another, collating information, maybe things for upgrades. When we saw Anthem back in the day and you're flying from one area to another, I thought to myself, this looks like a glorified Iron Man game. What's the appeal about this? What are you doing? You're supposedly saving villagers from bad guys, and what else? Oh really? I'm zoning out already. Bye. See you later. Oh, hello. Like your tits.
Key outlaw.
Kay Vez, the underworld's favorite new scoundrel.
Look at that. Look at that. I mean, that is a night and day difference, isn't it? I mean, where are her titties gone? And Humberly Gonzalez has got some tatatas on her. What's this? Oh my good grief, I'm looking at a man boy. Holy hell, man. It's like she's getting ready for a judo session. Space martial arts. Yep, say goodbye to Western females in video games, folks. They want to be beautiful, busty, attractive, alluring. No, all those words I mentioned, you're just getting the complete opposite. Ugh. Oh my god! Diverse, Mr. Director!
To Star Wars itself,
Hang on a second, why? What did he say here?
Ocean's 11, Ocean's 8.
I mean, Ocean's 8, I've not seen this film, but Cate Blanchett and Sandra Bullock are absolutely hot. They should have been rubbing boobies together in that movie, but why didn't they do that? So, have not seen this. I might give it a watch, but I know some of you are going to tell me don't waste my time. But bizarre that the director would highlight Ocean's, the first one, Ocean's 11, then goes to Ocean's 8. Well, why bring that in? Is it because everything is too male-centric in Star Wars? We got to give a female perspective.
To Star Wars itself,
Navid Kavari.
That heist feeling was always kind of in the fabric to just totally.
Oh my god.
Kurosawa, those original influences to George Lucas.
Knowing what sort of story you.
So apparently, folks, this edition of Star Wars Outlaws will be like the Seven Samurai from 1954. Akira Kurosawa. See, I'm just saying that off the top of my head, folks. I'm like a human Wiktionary, kind of. So, this is 1954, this movie, and it's an absolute grand spectacle of cinematography, action, just a delightful film to watch. But apparently, Ubisoft's Star Wars Outlaws is going to be on this equivalent. I'm surprised you didn't mention Lawrence of Arabia. Oh no, that's got a white hero in it. You can't have that. Played by the late great Peter O'Toole. Find different ways to make Nix happy. That's your sidekick. I mean, probably choke it and then throw it out the window. That would make me happy.
3-second rule, where within a few blinks of an eye you can instantly.
What? That face is absolutely hideous. I wouldn't even have that on a wanted poster. No way. I was about to say, I would rather play this game than Dustborn, that god-awful shipwreck I played a couple of weeks ago. But my goodness, look at that. I just innocently freeze-frame this. I mean, she's malnutritioned. Kay Vez needs to eat some space burgers. The non-vegetarian variety, thank you very much. As one of my subscribers mentioned to me yesterday with CD Projekt Red, he knew that they were going downhill when they all became vegetarian and rejected meat. Who would do that? So folks, on my left right here is Kay Vez. It's a wanted poster, which I just innocently mentioned. Now this could be when she walks into the bar and they scanned her face, but it looks like the red writing is dictating that it's actually she's wanted. And she just looks so much prettier there. Look at that. She's really nice. So what happened with the translation, dude? That's just awesome. And it's not awesome. It's terrible. I'm just saying that just to make Ubisoft go, oh, someone who likes our game design. It looks so wonderful. No, Ubisoft is absolute dog shit. It looks like Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars. Is it Star Wars? Well, Jawas, do you have anything to say? No? Okay. I ain't got no titties. Can you help me get some augmentations? Like Steve-O from Jackass, the man is getting fake implants. Why would you do that? Steve-O has some serious mental health issues. August 30th. Oh my God. There we go. Ubisoft on upcoming open world games, which might as well be dead at this point. Oh my goodness me. What have I learned after watching that absolute deep dive today? Now, what I will say is this, is that there might be elements of the game that could actually be very good. They look quite immersive, but I will say, oh my God, Humbly Gonzalez, how do you feel about that presentation? I mean, they didn't even interview you, did they? I mean, it's terrible. What, you're going to sue Ubisoft for defamation of visuality? I don't blame you, actually. And if you do get a big payoff, can I have some money as well, please? Just to help me get some big augmented titties as well. And speaking of which, oh God, I can't wait to hang out with those two lovely ladies later on, Eve and Nier Automata. But back to my point. Now, I think this Star Wars game is going to be a mixed reaction. I think there's going to be one half that doesn't like the female character design of K-Vez, like people like me and obviously Smash JT will call out the ugliness of that character, because what could have elevated this game was having a very attractive female character. I don't care if she has pronouns or strange things in her biog, as long as we had a good looking character. Or at least the game could have given you the option to customize the character how you want to. I'll be very interested to see, however, if modders in the community, God, I hate saying that word, will actually slither out and make their own K-Vez mods. They should, because that would actually make the game more appealing. And again, some of the movements with the character are very janky, the way she stands there and like bum bum bum. Are you telling me that's how Miss Humbly Gonzalez did her mocap? I don't think so, because the camera is supposed to capture everything, right? And the same tired excuse I do see from Western game development, because apparently when the camera scans the male actors, oh, everything's fine, the likenesses, everything's there. But when it comes to women, apparently the camera can't capture them in the most beautiful way possible. But what happens when it goes into the program, it gets decoded as ugly? Just ask GPT how you would translate this woman. But I'm very curious to see how this will do on the grand scale of things. And I think the fact that IGN's previewing this, I reckon their overall score will be between 6 and 7 out of 10, which by their metrics, it's a good game. But other people will say, no, it's not. But what will probably kill this game in the end will be the pre-orders, the ridiculous amounts of money you've got to pay just to unlock a few other things if you get the collector's edition, which looks like dog shit anyway. So Ubisoft, any hope that they're going to be making any video games of greatness now, it's forget about it. So The Division parts 1 and 2, yes, they're meant to be very good games. I think there was a solo component of the game, but why I didn't play them, because they were online all the time. That was another game that got slandered, or not slandered, it got called out for using a very amazing cinematics for the gameplay, and they actually had trained actors to come in and do all the radio comms, and the way they were talking to each other is like, oh come on, gamers don't speak like that in real life. It's quite the opposite.
Okay, flare is up, control point is ours. Nice. You guys want to check out the plane? Let's go.
I'm surprised that Ubisoft thought they can get away with it at the time. Again, Watch Dogs as well. Remember, we were all blown away by that E3 presentation of Aiden Pierce, and then when the final game came out, it's like, what went wrong in translation? Why does that one look better, and why does the console version look like dog doo-doo? You could say that was probably the precursor to what happened later on to Cyberpunk 2077. And on that one, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like below, smash that lightsaber like it was going out of fashion. And if I were you, and if you were her, because she's got to sue Ubisoft very, very soon, I'll catch you catching me on the next video.